is a tougher defense, Gibbs? Cover 2 or cover 4? So give people some background on this. Why have people been seeing so much cover 2 and cover 4? And then which do you find tougher? And then what are some strategies we can put together for each of these defenses?
I would say the first thing you're going to find cover 4 when you look at cover 4, it's the defensive play call that you'll find most used at the start of any season. Because we've said it many times before, when you look at the play art, you have the most colors, the most area of the field defended by zone defenders.
Yeah, dogs all go, looks like it's not going to cover anybody, and cover 4 drops like, wow, where are they going to throw?
So that's the starting point, and that isn't to say that's an elite level tip or explanation. It's more of a high level, beginner style approach to the game. Look at it. It visually represents that it's going to cover more of the field. And when you pick up the game for the first time, you don't know how to get pressure, you can't blitz, things like that. So you need to have the coverage. Now, I would say, in my opinion, I think cover 4 is harder to defeat than cover 2. And that is solely because cover 4 is built-in run defense. When you have the safeties play in these run support situations, when they play up in the run and you want to run the ball against it, it's really difficult because now it's a laid back coverage defense, give you everything underneath, but you have these safeties that shoot the gaps and actually become a tremendous run defense. Now in that case, yeah, that worked well, but over the long haul, cover 4 is a very stout style run defense, and I personally think cover 4 is harder to beat than a cover 2. Now, flip side of that though, if you get a blitz out of cover 2,
because you take away the short things early.
Right.
So why would you say, in your estimation, so many pro players and good players are playing cover 4 right now?
Cover 4 is for the run support, and the quarter seams are your best. You gotta get rid of your right trigger there. The quarter flats are your best overall zones in the game. They do the most. They have the most leverage in terms of they'll play the flat, they'll play match man, they'll drop into a buzz. They have the most versatility based on what your opponent is running offensively. So there's a lot of value in having quarter flats. And then again, the deep safeties here, you can see when I show my run fits, they play run first, pass second, right? So their first step is in the run game to attack the ball carrier. Cover 2 is always a fan favorite because if you can generate a good blitz out of it, that's what makes cover 2 effective because it's really difficult to get the ball out anywhere. The flats are covered, and they usually have a good user over the middle of the field, so really where do you go with the ball?
Right, so let's show cover 2 just what it looks like. Obviously, last year people found this cover 2 effective with nickel blitz 2. You obviously remember that play where the pressure came in from the slot. We've been seeing some pressure early in this season so far from cover 2. You try and get the ball out quick to the flat. It's very difficult. So, for example, here you can see pressure comes in off the left edge, cover 2, and this is all you really have to go by. And so when you go into instant replay, you look and you see, well, where am I supposed to throw this thing? Maybe the left. So you might say, well, maybe this is open, this left flat. But what you're going to see is that you're not going to get much. You don't really have time to go anything deep downfield. The user is in the middle of the field. Here, he's kind of locking down some things. You're locking down some things across the middle.
The flat looks open, but then in this instance, throw the flat,
right,
and just show that this is what makes it frustrating. When you have a blitz set up, cover 2, you throw to that flat, and then they tackle you, and you get a 3-yard gain, and it's like, wait, it looked like it was way more open on that previous play. That's what makes it difficult. These soft squats, these cloud flats, they give you the underneath, and then they rally, and you're usually not going to get more than 3-4 yards unless you break a tackle. So
that's cover 2 with the pressure. That's the reason people beat that. So cover 4, what adjustments are people generally making with cover 4? Are they keeping the quarter flats? What are some things that they're doing to have success?
There's really a handful of things that they're doing. It's not too extensive here, but you cover 4 drop. And definitely what you'll see is the first step you'll see from a cover 4 is typically you'll see the safeties brought up just like a little bit.
Just so they play in the run a little bit better.
Now they're just in the run support better. Now off of that, the adjustments are your coverage audible. So if it was a 4th and 2, what I would do in this spot is I would play coverage audible down, play hard flats. And now, because I'm only rushing 3 people, I'm in a base underneath cover 3 defense because I got 2 hard flats, I got 2 hooks over the middle of the field. So I got 4 defenders protecting the short part of the field. So now what I'm specifically making you do with hard flats, I'm making you throw the corner route. Now what's happening and what's making this cover 4 so difficult to beat right now is the 90+ zone coverage metagame, right? I'm going to put, especially in mud, I'm going to put my 90 zone corners on the outside first. And then when you throw those corners, I'm going to make my 90 zone corners break down on those corner patterns.
Right, they cover very well.
So what you're seeing is, okay, protect the flat, they want you to throw that corner, but they know good and well that they have the appropriate defender with the right ratings in that spot to defend against it. And then also on top of it, what you're going to get is corners flat by default is very good. If you run flat patterns, it turns it into a hard flat. So just remember that. But if you don't run that, it could potentially play a match man against a vertical pattern. But what I'm also seeing, which is really difficult to defend against, is you get quarter flats or cloud flats. So let me show you what that is. That's cover double down to make them hard flats, and then cover double up gives you cloud flats.
Y down on the right stick, Y up on the right stick. You see those purple zones change into blue ones called cloud flats with that change. What was that do?
This defense is just so infuriating because it will give you everything underneath, and you will never get anything over the top. Like it just gives you that, and you have to be okay with living with six yards at a time, right? And it sounds easy, but over the course of a game, over the course of 40 plays, do you have the patience to not throw the ball downfield one time? Because you're throwing in a lot of cases, you're going to throw into triple coverage. What I mean by that is, watch this. Throw this post. I'm not going to cover it anymore. Just throw the post. You're going to end up throwing it into probably 3 defenders will be in the area of the ball. Now there's 2 right there, right? And you can see the break on the ball. You cannot throw downfield against cover 4 because these zone defenders, especially at that 90 threshold, are so good at breaking on the ball that it is just terrifying. It's terrifying. That post, you should have completed that. But because the defender breaks on it, it's really difficult right now to convert against cover 4 downfield.
So that's why cover 4 is so good. Cover 2, we talked about it, because it covers short and people can blitz off of it. You don't really have the ability to hit the flats as much as you think they're open. The users kind of lurk in the middle. So let's go through 2 plays. We showed you last week where to attack cover 4. You can go over to youtube.com/sgibs, youtube.com/cfarls, and you can see that video of how to attack cover 4. We'll go over that though real quick. Just kind of give you guys some comfort and some meta that we're seeing, because you're going to run into these defenses if you're playing online games. Definitely. So first things first, you're in cover 4 here.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to identify coming out of the huddle if you think it's cover 2 or you think it's cover 4. Because if it is cover 2, you can beat it deep potentially. Cover 4, you kind of have to go underneath and do some different things. But you can tell because these 2 corners on the outside are dropped back about 10, 12 yards. So this guy here, if you want to highlight him real quick so we can see him, Jones, and then on the other side is Kirkpatrick, I believe, or Denard. So that's the depth you'll see with cover 4. Now, if it's cover 2, they're likely to be up a little bit more.
The problem when we get into a more advanced setup and breakdown there, the problem becomes I can play cover 2 and just use a base line, and I'm going to throw that all off. So from a more advanced level, we're not going to fall victim to that. Where if you're going to play at a lower level and you play cover 2, what Farles just said there is 1,000% accurate. Because take a look. See it in cover 2 here? They're up in the box. Now, if I were to go back to cover 4, there's just a different depth. He's closer because we're audibling in practice. But just don't fall victim if you're playing a real game of cover 4, and the baseline will bring them back. But one thing to note is most times if you face 3-3-5 normal, if your opponent is in a cover 2, they usually are blitzing. They're usually doing the problem blitz, the Tampa 2. I'm going to call it the problem blitz.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in a press alignment, right? So just be aware of that. If you see the press, they're probably going to be playing cover 2, especially with a baseline and a misalignment like this against a bunch. Just be ready for the cover 2.
Yes, this is where you must be ready for cover 2. So first things first, against cover 4, we talked about it a little bit, halfback draw potentially can get those guys out of the box because it acts as if it's a run first play. So if they're in cover 4 and you're not having success with inside zone and you want to abandon the run, you can at least get your guys to back up a little bit and hope that you get some blocking. So halfback draw, one strategy against cover 4 if you think you're getting it. You can find, hopefully you have it as one of your quick audibles, you head on over to a play with it, call that hike it. You have to definitely run the ball as much as you can against the cover 4. You know you're not going to get huge gains, but you have to get some just to make sure you keep them honest a little bit. Also against cover 4, because they're only rushing 3, even if they contain, you can run with the quarterback. That's something I've had a bunch of success with so far, just to make them give up another resource, whether it's a quarterback spy, where they have to drop them across the middle. But they really don't rush that well. You can hopefully R-trigger and then get up through the middle of the pocket for a gain. That's one area where I've kind of been going to utilize against certain cover 4s. It can be a little bit hit or miss, and it depends on the quarterback, but in MUT, you definitely have speedier quarterbacks. And then one other thing we talked about was kind of targeting behind the flat zones, but in front of those. So do you have a setup you like, one play for cover 4? We talked about targeting kind of across, or...
It's less about a play, but I want to highlight specifically the route to Cobb. That type of pattern, just notice the depth, notice the angle. You're going to find that in a lot of playbooks. That's one of the better ways to attack cover 4, and it attacks it on the sideline. So
Y route right here.
The Y route to Cobb, right? So give me a drag to Nelson and just a vertical to Adams. And what you're going to find is the user defender in this case, they're all in the middle of the field usually, snapping the ball. They're going to see the drag, drop here, and then they have to get back. So I was a little late there. You can see, and you see how well they
break
play
on the ball, yeah.
So, but that's what you're going to see is, if we go into some replay, these late breaking patterns, especially without cross man, they're the routes that are really hard to defend. And what you're going to do is you're going to force a user defender to make a play there. And the other thing off of the cover 4, right? Run a play, go back to the PA boot over. So you have to be prepared for the meta to be this. Someone's going to recognize this formation and go, okay, I have to be ready for PA boot over.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. They're going to then user Cobb.
Yep.
They're going to know to go to Cobb. So you then have to set up a play that attacks their user. So in this instance, what I would do is I would take Adams off of his route. I'd put him on the in, and I would leave him on the in, or I would smart route the in. So the reason I'm saying that is this. Okay, let's show you what the defense looks like here. You're going to run the same setup, and I'm going to go and use your Cobb. That will then leave a passing lane open for you to throw to B. So I have to go here. Now you see how that opens up there? That is now the meta that you have to play. And what that is you have to anticipate that your opponent knows to defend the route that beats your defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then they know, I have to go defend that route. Well, where's their user? What's going to open up in that spot? So that's where you have to... It gets difficult at that point, and it's really hard. But that's what you're going to find is going to give you success. Like, I have to go here to defend this. I have to, because there's not much that will defend that. I can't cross-man him unless I'm doing a safety or doing something like that to take it away. So I'm forced to go defend that. Or the other example could be I play complete cloud flats. Cloud flats should be in a position to take away that Y route, which then would, but that gives you that underneath pattern. So now I would have to go here. Now you got rid of Y.
Got rid of Y on a drag by accident there.
Right. So you then have to go to, you then have to use, as a defender, you have to use the underneath route. You still have to set your offense up in a way that's going to attack where their user isn't. So that's what the game kind of turns into at this point, right? So I'd still put Adams B on an in. I'd probably put him on a low in because I'm gonna have to go. I know I have to defend that. Even the cloud flat wouldn't even go to the Y, right?
So that's a couple things you can do against cover 4. Against cover 2, do you have any recommendations? Obviously, do you try and pick up the pressure, or do you try and run away from the pressure, or do you try and
you got to pick up the pressure,
leak out the pressure, or
you have to pick up the pressure, because if you don't, it's going to scream at you, and then what do you got? You got nothing. You're going to get sacked, right? And it sounds easier than it is.
So here's the thing with cover 4. It's a slow man's game where, because they're not really blitzing that much, they'll let you stay in the pocket for 5 seconds. They'll let you playmaker. They'll let you scramble. They'll let you run. Like, you're going to cut yourself against cover 4
Yes.
and do damage to yourself because you have too much time. Whereas cover 2,
Cover 2 blitz.
they're going to spice you up. It's going to be hot. You're not going to have any time to think. You're not going to have any time to mess up. You're just going to be taking sacks, and then you're just going to be chucking the ball randomly. So it's a different type of feeling in playing these two defenses. Good players mix them both up, but let's see how we would potentially pick up pressure. Do you have a formation you'd like to go to pick up pressure? A tactic you use?
Well, the good thing about gun bunch is you can in theory pick up pressure on either side of the field. You can get a tight end and a halfback. So in this case, though, what I would show you is the stash is still here. So
electric.
In this case here, what I would say is what I like to do against the cover 2 is try to attack down the vertical sideline. That's the weak spot. But what you need to do is you need to flood it appropriately. So actually, by default in the Seattle Seahawks playbook, they have a great play. They're quick outable right. It's not verticals, but it's actually a little bit better. It's clear out SE out. So what you do in this instance, I like to streak Cobb, drag Adams, the far receiver. And now in this instance, the dilemma that gets created is if pressure's coming off that left edge, you can try and ID the Mike in this spot here, or you'd have to motion Montgomery. But Montgomery's gonna. You need to be able to motion Nelson in this play. So my recommendation is you try it. You try picking the pressure off the edge, and if it doesn't work, then you're gonna have to flip the formation and go the opposite side. But in this case here, you're gonna motion Nelson out, snap it here, and you just need time in the pocket, and then you deliver that throw down the sideline there. Now against a cloud flat, he's gonna keep drifting, so you're forced to go to B. You're forced to go to the drag pattern. So let me show you that here. Watch. So you're forced. No, Siri, don't listen to that. Siri, quiet. Wow, look at that. Siri said, "Hey Siri, emotional snap at here in the pocket. Any deliver that throw down the side. That and I guess the clouds flat keep directing. See you and you're forced to go to the draft."
Forced to go to the draft.
Is that not funny? But okay, you're going to be forced to throw to B here because of the cloud flats. But if I put these guys on soft squats afterwards, you can see how you have to dump down there.
You still only get like.
That's the problem.
I know.
That's the problem. But you need these deep developing corner patterns. So if you go to PA boot over, and let's go here, streak Bennett. All right, one time. Oh, I don't have my defense auto flipped. So now in this case, I would drag Nelson, put Cobb on an in, and motion Adams to the left. And you want to hit Adams down that. Nope, your other left.
Stage left.
Stage
left.
Sometimes your directions are just so off. Is it the mustache?
Stage left.
Is it the mustache? But you want to try and target him down this deep sideline. You need time in the pocket for it to get picked up. Right there. There's a window there. But you see how he breaks on it.
Yeah.
You really have to work your pass lead. And it's also really important that you have great route running to these receivers. Now, you can do the same thing with curl flat corner, the gun bunch tight end. That you'll be able to see here. Let me go to cover 2. So curl flat corner in this instance, we're going to set the same motion. You streak Nelson, slant Adams, and then block Montgomery. So we're going to set the same motion Adams to the left, but now we're going to change a different part of the field where we're going to attack the cover 2. So snap of the ball, you think it's over there, you need time in the pocket, it opens up, good throw, and you can see how now we can attack the part of the field. These same two plays, the PA boot over with motion and the curl flat corner with motion, will also beat cover 4, but your throw needs to be perfect and you need to have good route running receivers. You have to have great route running receivers. I'm talking 90 plus. I want the threshold's even a little higher,
Hard
right?
to get.
But it's hard to get at this point.
Edelman.
Right.
So those are some options for beating cover 2, beating cover 4, where you want to attack, why those defenses are good, how the zones work. Those are the type of things we break down here on This Week in Madden. Hopefully that helps you. If you guys need more plays, more tips, subscribe to the channels. You got youtube.com/cfarrells and youtube.com/sgibs. So let us know in the chat what's up with that. Let's go into the next mailbag question. Gibbs, any final notes you would put on those?
Really, it's about patience, and it's easy to say, and I fall victim to it all the time as well. What's hard about coverage defense is it forces you to take what the defense gives you every time. I think someone in the chat said it earlier. I don't know if it was Hot Sticks or who it was, but someone earlier tonight said you have to 100% take what the user gives you every time. And when you play someone that plays coverage, that's the game that you're playing. If you go into a game knowing that, you're better prepared. What ends up happening is you get frustrated. You get into a 3rd and 7. You try and chuck the ball downfield. The better option would be get into a manageable 4th down, check down on 3rd and 7, get to 4th and 3, and now you have a lot more at your disposal. I can run the ball for a 1st down. I can dump down a drag and still get a 1st down.
Right.
You are forced to play a check down game, and that's what is difficult about playing these coverage style defenses.
Even just taking those levels as much as they'll give them to you before they go to hard flats, make them play hard flats, flat pass, as much as you can.